on the policy side, because most of the challenges that we have in Web3 space in Nigeria, as far as I'm concerned, is the government policies, right? We had with Binance moving to Nigeria as far as the P2P is concerned, and that made a lot of Web3 companies move back to countries like Rwanda and Kenya, right? So what's the government, because you guys are on the policy side, what are you guys doing at CBAN to make sure that the policies of the government is very to attract foreign investors as far as Web3 is concerned?
All right, thank you, everyone. Can you all hear me? Good evening. Yeah, my name is Obi Niuno, and like he said, I'm the CBAN president. And many of you may be wondering what is CBAN. So CBAN is the Blockchain Association for Nigeria, right? So before you ever hear of Web3, cryptocurrency, and all of that, it is all embedded in blockchain. So blockchain is like the main layer housing all of these things. And I happen to lead that sector here in Nigeria. So at CBAN, what we have been doing is to make Nigeria the #1 blockchain ecosystem in Africa, that we can also be able to compete with our peers across the world. Now, why is this very important? In Africa, Nigeria alone accounts for over 60% of the blockchain, crypto, and Web3 activities that happen. And when you check on Global Index, we are like #2. That means Nigeria is a very important country in the world when it comes to anything blockchain, cryptocurrency, Web3, as the case may be. So what does it mean? It means that Nigeria has to become that ground where everything blockchain prospers and thrives. Not just for organizations alone, but for individuals. And why is this important? Nigeria's population is estimated to be over 200 million people, and over 60% are young people, which makes up some of you here. If the government does not have the right policies and regulations for that industry and sector to thrive, then it will not benefit you directly. And the reason is this: blockchain is the greatest opportunity that Africa has ever had to leapfrog and level up with the rest of the world. Now, it's very important for us that we are harnessing the benefits and opportunities of blockchain, and that is in the human capacity development. That is where you come in. One of the things Nigeria has done is that Nigeria is the first country and the only country in Africa to have a national blockchain policy. Now, this policy is to enhance adoption, advancement, and development of blockchain technology. It's hinged on innovation, capacity development, and of course adoption. What the government is doing, and what we are working with the federal government, because we started developing this, I think way back in 2020, when we started drafting the blockchain policy with the federal government. And the goal is for Nigeria to generate $6 billion annually from blockchain technology alone. Imagine what that would do to our economy. And then in 2023, the policy was finished, and former president, signed it into law. And we established a national steering committee, was established by the former Minister of Communications, of which I'm a member of that committee. So we meet periodically in Abuja to discuss about these things and to see how we can advance blockchain technology, into the mainstream, both in the public and the private sector. Now, another thing, last one, which has helped is the new Investment and Securities Act, which has recognized cryptocurrencies as digital assets and has now made Bitcoin a technology, and that is even why, like, with the upcoming Bitcoin Pizza Day that we are having across the world, we are celebrating in 15 countries across Africa and even here in Enugu. So those are opportunities that you can take, as a young person. When you attend these kind of things, you get to learn, right? So there's a whole lot the industry is doing, but we can't say everything here. So if you want to know more, on the 22nd of May, come to Volta Arena and you will learn more.
Okay, so I was going to come back to you with another question, because the challenge with Nigeria, as far as blockchain is concerned, is not the policy side of it. It's in the implementation. So you find government agencies saying one thing, and in actuality, they're doing the opposite of it. The case of Binance was a sorry case, because if there are agents, if the agencies of government are truly enforcing these laws, is to bring these guys on the table and have discussions with them. If they're not paying enough tax, have discussions with them and pay. Do you know how many persons lost job because Binance existed in Nigeria? Do you know how many opportunities we lost in the blockchain ecosystem to Rwanda, to Kenya, because Binance left Nigeria? Basically,
I lost 6 companies.
Exactly. So I think I will come back to you with that, and I'm looking forward to Bitcoin Pizza Day, where we can sit down on the round table and have this discussion and enforce it within the federal level to form a more favorable policy that could be implemented, not just saying it, right? So I'm going to go over to DeFi Messiah, Edidion. You are more on the DeFi side. That's what they call it, DeFi Messiah. DeFi is a niche in blockchain, which simply means decentralized finance. So for beginners, okay, for a novice, to use that word, right? Someone that is like an artist, someone that is a fashion designer, right? How will these people leverage Web3, okay, leverage blockchain to blow up their business and, to tap into cross-border markets, right? How will they be able to achieve that?
Thank you very much. I'm very glad to be here. My name is DeFi Messiah. I'm a Web3 product developer, and I'm building Web3 communities. I think my genuine concern is everyone, to my left, to my right, on the gallery, to actually tap into the opportunities that the blockchain space offers to us. And as beginners, I like to say the first thing is learning the basics. In this space, there are a lot of information, there are a lot of blockchains, a lot of complex words, a lot of things to understand in your journey. But it will do you a great service to go to the very fundamental, go to block zero, go to the very first basics, and try to get acquainted with what is blockchain as a whole, what is this Web3 space, and to really explore the full potential for blockchain for you. I would like to first set the fact that blockchain is for everyone. And as a young person coming to the space, having that basic understanding at the back of your mind that there's a place for everyone in the blockchain space sets you on a foundation to stay. As a young person coming to the space, you don't have to become something special or be a particular guru or do something very out of place to actually make money or make a lot of impact and a lot of money from this place, right? We all want to earn. So first is learning the basics. Second is identifying your current skill. What skill do you have now? And bringing that skill to the blockchain space. And also having an understanding. When you are coming to the blockchain space, it's very different. Now, you've been a young person, grown up all your life in an environment that has exposed you to certain conditions and certain limitations. But the blockchain is like a door to freedom. Like, come into this door and you are expressing freely at a different pace. So you have to understand that within conditions and certain limitations. You came 3 months ago and you are envying that guy has been for 3 years. He has gone through it. So embracing the learning journey is very important. And knowing that there's a place for everyone in the blockchain space. Also committing to learn and committing to build new ideas. The purpose of the blockchain is to revolutionize or disrupt industries, like change how things were done. Blockchain came to change how payments happen. So that means blockchain is supposed to change how you transport from your house to work, change how you access educational content, change how you even create your own content and monetize this content, change how you distribute. There's something called distribution of people who are building ideas. If you're trying to build an idea, you need the idea to get from 10 to 100 to 100,000 people. Blockchain has changed how people distribute ideas. So when you think of blockchain, think of change. Think of tomorrow is here. Is tomorrow here? Yeah. Our tomorrow is what? Here with the blockchain. You need the idea to get from 10 to 100 to 100,000 people. Blockchain has changed how people distribute ideas. So when you think of blockchain, think of change. Find the current skill you have, deploy that skill, bring that skill and start contributing. 3, join a community, very important. We have a lot of amazing community. I am actively a part of SEAL Community Nigeria, Base Africa. There are a lot of other communities on Solana Leaks. Name them. There are many communities. Join one of those communities and then try to contribute. We come up every morning, say GM in the community, ask questions. Now, a very important leader, Elon Musk, said, if the universe is the answer, what questions will he ask? People just come to events like this, go back, and they want one miracle to happen and fall on them so that they're now blockchain idiots earning a lot of money. But you have to embrace the process, understand your why. Everybody has a why they are in this space, and work towards it. Believe me, even if you are as dumb as, I don't know, but if you put in the work and then you start learning, you start contributing to communities as a complete beginner, next 3 to 6 months, you are on your way to something phenomenal. Thank you.
Thank you. I just want to double down on some of the points you've made. So for a beginner, you want to identify your skills. So for an artist, you want to start exploring NFTs, right? For someone that is a writer, you want to start doing technical writing for Web3 protocols. and stuff
Can I
like
share
that.
my Web3 story, right? Okay, just to answer that
So
question.
I'll come back to you with that
Okay.
question. Yeah, I'll come back to you with that question. Thank you so much. So I'm going to go back to Joshua because you have a stand-up meeting. For you, I want you to talk to us about, because I have a lot of friends here that are traditional software engineers. They're not Web3 guys. Okay, so what is the process to transition from a traditional software engineer to a Web3 engineer?
Okay, so it's actually very, very important that you have that foundation, right? So you already, I'm just happy I'm not talking about getting into Web3, right? So you already have the basic knowledge. So just like he mentioned earlier, a lot of people think the Web3 space is a playground. Just like every other serious profession, every other serious field, it needs time, right? You need to give it your 10,000 hours or how many hours you need. So getting into the Web3 space, first, you need to understand the core basic. What is it even about? What is blockchain? Why does it exist? What problem is it solving? Like, why do we even need it in the first place, right? And then when you get past that, you need to also learn about, like, different concepts like consensus mechanism in the blockchain, proof of work, proof of stake, and all that. Those are very foundational knowledge that you're going to need later on, right, in your journey. And then after that, there's no trick to this, guys, other than do the work, right? You actually have to write the code. No matter how many times you watch that video, if you sit for 6 months watching videos, reading articles, because you want to move into the Web3 space, and you're not writing the code, you're not building the actual product, just build random stuff. And sometimes I get why it's very difficult to build. You feel like you don't have a support system, and that is where the community comes in. There are a lot of amazing communities you can join as a solo entrepreneur, or even join like a team of guys already building. So community is very, very vital, right, to not just the Web3 space, to be very honest, but in the Web3 space, it's even more vital. You need to join a community, find a community that you resonate with, participate in the activity, be active. So you have to be intentional. I'm not going to come here and motivate you. You have to be very, very intentional. Like, you actually need to sit up when it's very uncomfortable, open that code, write it, you run into the error, debug it, reach out to a friend, right? You just have to do the work. Learn. So if you're not into Ethereum, that's after you even figured out the difference between Ethereum, Solana, and the rest of them, and you feel like, oh, Ethereum is not for you, you can actually move to other ecosystems. There's Solana, there is, even though a lot of people don't like Cardano, but then it's still an ecosystem, right? So, but just find out the one that you like, keep exploring. Let me tell you one thing is that a lot of us are figuring it out on the go, and that's just fact. We don't know a lot of these things that people think we know. We're figuring it out on the go, and that's what it takes for you to actually transition from Web 2 to Web 3 or even Web 5. You have to actually do it scared. I don't want to sound like that, but then I have to say, you have to figure it out on the go. There is no magic book you read. There's no magic formula that gets you into the Web3 space automatically. Just start doing it. Even if you're not getting into it as an engineer, you want to get into it as a content creator, but you don't even understand what to create content about. Just do something. Let it be cliche. Yes, let it be bad. I remember my first video I made when I was transitioning to DevRel. I go back. I still left it online for reasons best known to me, because I want people to see that there was actually a time that it sucks, right? So you actually have to start, and the more you wait, the more time you waste. So in summary, start. If you get confused, ask questions. Join communities. Very, very important. Join communities and make sure you learn the foundation. I've seen a lot of people who try to just get into the space. Next thing, they're into trying to build out a project. Very awesome, very cool. But trust me, when you're trying to build something that is actually scalable, something that people are actually going to use, you're going to realize that you have a lot of gaps in your knowledge. It's still cool to learn whenever time you realize, but it's always advisable to learn it first, so you don't have to start going back to square one. And yep, I guess that will be it. And I have to go now. So it was nice chatting with you guys. See you guys.
Thank you. So Judy Code has to leave because he has a stand-up meeting. So permit him to leave. Thank you, Judy Code, for staying around. I'll come back to you, Vindicated Chidi. You're a brand, how do I say it? You're a household name in the Web3 space in Nigeria, basically, right? Because you do a lot of community development, and you've worked with a lot of Web3 protocols, right? So I'm going to ask you this question: what opportunities, right, exist for Nigerian Web3 entrepreneurs? By Nigerian Web3 entrepreneurs, I mean even both people that are not in the Web3 space right now. Are there opportunities that exist for these people? For people that have the basic knowledge of Web3, what other opportunities? How can they scale these opportunities? So 2 in 1. What opportunities exist for Nigerian entrepreneurs in the Web3 space? For players in the space already that are new, how will they scale in Web3 space?
Thank you very much for that wonderful question. Actually, this question dives into my topic.
Yeah.
So will it not be better to, explain it more when I'm talking instead of, saying it now, then later we still proceed?
Okay, we don't have time. We're going to leave that one. Go back to Obina. So guys, you have to wait for Vindicated Stages session, please. Today is the last day. Now, some of these people on this stage, it's very hard to get them. Extremely hard to get them. You see, Judy Code has to leave. It's very hard. So you want to pay the price, stay around, you will get value. There's up to be won, there's more to give away. Vindicated Cheat has given away over $400 right now. So you want to stay around for the grand finale, please. So I'm going to go over to Obina. You see, policy is very clear. You want to pay the price, stay around, you will get value. There's up to be won, there's more to give away. Policy is very key. It's not just base, okay, because just the data you mentioned, right? Globally, Nigeria is top 5, right, as far as policies are there, okay, because we have to push these things to the quarters that will listen to us, right? So, as far as policy is concerned, as opposed to just making policies, right, what is helps us, the Web3 players in Nigeria, to thrive, basically?
All right. Like you mentioned earlier, you said the government says one thing and then does another thing. It's been a challenge, especially in Africa, and I do not know why they are making it so much of a challenge. And why I say this is this now. Blockchain is a game changer. Why is it a game changer? Everything, like I said, everything that you are hearing about today, cryptocurrency, Web3, they are all blockchain. Without blockchain, none of those things. So they are actually innovations of the blockchain. A simple explanation is this. Blockchain is the bakery. Cryptocurrency is like bread. Web3 is like chin-chin. But because most of you, a bakery is meant for baking things, not for baking bread. A bakery is for baking things, right? So you can choose what to bake in your bakery. Meat pie, donuts, burger, whatever it is. So now Nigeria baked